2018 meeting of the Litchfield Board of Selectmen. The meeting was called to order at 6 o'clock, and we went into a non-public session for the purpose of interviewing a candidate for police officer. The board has come out of non-public session and will continue the regular order of business of the meeting. But first of all, we will stand and salute the flag, please. And Chief, would you mind? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And I would like to say that the Board of Selectmen has just finished interviewing candidate Melissa Allen for the position of police officer for the Litchfield Fire Department. And before we welcome Ms. Allen, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the hiring of Officer Allen.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Brunel.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Bork. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstain? Motion carries 4-0-0. Melissa, welcome to Litchfield. Welcome to the police department. And we wish you a long and successful and happy career. I understand all of your compatriots here to wish you well, and I think you'll find that that'll be the attitude and the nice jovial family atmosphere here. So we wish you all the best, and again, a long and successful career.
Thank you, sir.
Chief, do you have anything?
I'm going to swear in.
Absolutely.
Thank you. We have you step right up here. And you get to turn around and face the crowd. I'm going to have you raise your right hand and just repeat after me. I, Melissa Allen,
I, Melissa Allen,
do solemnly swear
that
I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent on me as a probationary full-time police officer, according to the best of my abilities, agreeably to the rules and regulations of the Constitution and the laws of the state of New Hampshire. So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
We're all going back if you'd like that.
You always do this.
Always.
Okay? You always do this. You know we're not going to.
John's going to come back and get some of you guys.
That'd be nice.
We're all going back.
Okay, Melissa.
Great, thank you.
Congratulations and
Thank you.
welcome.
Congratulations. Welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, John.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Melissa, just want to sign.
Thank you very much.
See you. Good night.
Okay, on to the rest of the order of business. Review and approval of consent items. Item 1 is the meeting minutes of April 9th. Item 2 is the accounts payable manifest for April 17th for $85,446.38 and April 24th, $16,853.66. Payroll manifest April 19th of $52,742.69 and April 26th of $52,895. We have a tax collector reconciliation from March, town clerk, and treasurer reconciliations from March. 5 veterans tax credits, 3 elderly exemptions, a timber tax levy of $995.45, current use application for map 3, lot 10, and report of a cut. Are there any items that members would like removed from the consent agenda? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Bork,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Brunel. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstained? Motion carries 4-0-0. We have handled item 1 with the police officer appointment. Public input will occur no earlier than 6:15. Are there any other items that members would like added to the agenda tonight? Okay, we will go on to item 2, which is the police cruiser purchase order approval. Mr. Brown?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to point out to the board in reviewing the purchasing policy, one of the things that everyone, I believe, in town, department heads, myself, we have this practice that if a vendor is listed in Appendix A of the purchase policy, that it's exempt from the competitive bidding of the policy. And things like that would be items that have already been placed to bid. In most cases, it's a state contract, federal contract. And typically you'll see the fire department and the police department will purchase a lot of items through the state contract price. One of the things that we failed to do is to actually seek a purchase order approval from the Board of Selectmen for any items that exceed $12,000. And so I thought, a couple meetings ago, I came to the board and asked one for a waiver from the purchasing policy for the paving of our roads this year. And then I also asked for you to approve the purchase order. We did the same with the plow truck purchase. And so this evening, the chief has informed me that he did actually, to get the state bid pricing, you have to order these vehicles right around the time the voting is done in March. So he has put a name in or has ordered the cruiser. This cruiser here is in the amount of $33,976. That does not include trade-in. So he is still working to get a trade-in value. We had $45,000 approved in the operating budget. So the extra funds are used to fit the vehicle up, and he'll be changing over some of the equipment and another cruiser as well.
So the immediate question I have is, it's the Tahoe.
Yeah, I was just
I
gonna.
was just looking at that. What happened
department
to
standard
Ford?
has been the Ford Explorer, and this can be.
So the chief has, for several reasons this year, he has consulted with some other departments with looking at this Chevy Tahoe. And the reason is that he's found that some of the maintenance issues that he's experiencing with the Ford has really, he's not been pleased with the maintenance cost of the new Fords. One of the things that recently happened was, the vehicle's under warranty. He brings it in to have some work done. They say the warranty was void because of the number of hours that the vehicle had idled. He's been told that they expect that they can actually get the life of this vehicle. They can probably get an extra year, if not more, out of the Tahoe versus the Ford Interceptor.
So
This is a marked vehicle, right?
Yeah.
This would be marked.
Who's gonna- is this gonna be-
and it's the same.
So car 5 is the one I think is up for replacement to roll out the detail. So to replace car 5, I just was surprised. Because I was just talking to him about the equipment switchover, and he didn't mention the Tahoe to me. So I'm like, I'm surprised.
So that being said, will that equipment fit in the Tahoe? Because I know typically
all the equipment.
The cage gets replaced anyway because
This cage. Yeah.
just the cage part.
Yeah.
All the other gear will fit in there. The question would be maybe mounts.
Yeah.
But I guess to maybe your point is this is well into the budget line item as it is. The mounts are $1,000.
Yeah. So he did tell me, he said all the equipment that we've purchased will fit in this cruiser, except for the cage. He'll have to purchase a new cage. And he's kind of looking at this. He wants, he wants to try the Tahoe out. He wants to see what the experience is with it. Interesting enough, I was riding with Fire Chief Deputy Nickel, and he drives a Tahoe. And he was actually, and it's a 1997. Does that sound right?
No.
2007. 1997. I graduated. 2007, and he was explaining. He said, "He goes, this has been an amazing vehicle. He goes, the maintenance costs we've really been reasonable." And he said, doing high speed, response to incidents, he goes, it handles extremely well. And that's what they're being told by other departments with this Tahoe.
Yeah, my only comment there is that the use for the fire department's car is different.
I know.
There's a lot more idle time here, which is which seems to be the complaint about the Explorer causing the issues.
Mm-hmm.
The idle time of that Tahoe sits parked unrunning more than it runs.
Mm-hmm.
So other than the previous chief who used to use it as a primary vehicle, it doesn't get a whole lot of use now. Do I agree that the Tahoe is probably a better built vehicle? Probably, but I won't. I'm concerned. Change. We're in a 2-1 cycle, and now we're going to go change models. So if we're successful, that means next year we're going to do 2 Tahoes. And what does that mean to detail fleet? So again, I'm not against this. I'm just saying it would have been nice to know about it up front.
Right.
When I saw the thing, I just assumed we're going. I didn't even open the thing up until you sat here talking about it, going, "Oh well, that's a surprise."
Well, that's what I was looking at. Wow.
Gas mileage is a little bit lower than an Explorer typically too for a Tahoe. It's a heavier truck.
It's the 4x4. You're looking at around town. It's the same as your pickup and my pickup. It's 15, 16, 17 miles a gallon.
Yeah.
Which I suspect the Explorer is probably getting very similar with all the weight.
Yeah, and it's got the eco engine, whatever it is. So the couple cylinders will shut down when it's idling. So
we have all that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not sure I'm a fan of that.
Doesn't help too much. As long as this, I'm going to tell you right now, as long as this is going to become a patrol car, then I'm for it. If it's going to become, an administrator, a chief's car, I'm not for it.
No. This is to be frontline patrol car.
It hasn't been a practice to put a brand new car into a administrative role.
Okay.
It's always been take a car that's coming out of frontline service into administrative role.
Okay.
Which is what the current chief's car is, and I believe the captain's car is also.
Yeah.
So. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I will entertain a motion, gentlemen.
Pursuant to the town's purchasing policy, I move to authorize the purchase of a 2018 Chevrolet Tahoe 4x4 police package in the amount not to exceed $33,976 and to authorize the police chief to trade in surplus cruisers to reduce said purchase price.
Moved by Mr. Schaefer.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Bork. Discussion? Questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries 400. Purchasing policy, review and update. Mr. Brown.
Okay, so this policy is reviewed by the board on an annual basis. I've shared it with department heads for feedback, and we've gone through the policy, updated based on feedback and our knowledge of vendors. Appendix A has been updated. We've added some vendors, removed some vendors, and all the changes are in Appendix A. So it's the last page. One of the things I did, I put at the top of Appendix A, I added some bold font. Where is it? So I've added language saying, however, purchase orders are still required in accordance with said section, which is referring to Section 3, which is talking about competitive bidding. So this is, we really miss this, but this is so important that any item that any department purchases, whether it's exempt from the competitive bidding process, that it be brought to this board and approved for any item purchased over $12,000. And, and that's all to prevent a purchase being made without the board's knowledge. So good discussion is Tahoe versus Ford Interceptor.
Still would have been nice to know about it before it came in front of us.
Well, you know, is our bad because again, I even felt that anything that was state bid price was exempt. So, you know, the message I got to carry back to all the department heads, everyone that makes in committees and commissions, is that you must seek the purchase order before you make any commitment to the vendor. And that's, you know, we don't do a lot of $12,000 purchases or more. It's probably more in the, you know, the $6,000 to $12,000 range, which requires the town administrator to sign the purchase order.
Okay, any questions on the policy? So we just need to affirm it or to approve it?
It requires an annual review, so we've updated the vendor list and added some language so it's clear that the purchase order is required.
Okay, gentlemen, your pleasure.
I'll make a motion that we approve the town of Litchfield's purchasing policy as reviewed and amended on April 23rd.
Moved by Mr. Brunel,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Schaefer. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstain? Motion carries 4-0-0. Bond bank application, I believe that was in the folder.
It was in the folder. We just received this email today. So I did place it on the agenda for this evening just because of the time constraint. They're looking to have these documents back to them on and before May 8th. So I've reviewed both documents. One is the bond application, and the other one is the town clerk's certification that this board has adopted the resolution, which doesn't need to be read, but you need to make, you know, a motion saying that you've done so. So just to give you all an update, we have from the New Hampshire Municipal Bond Bank, our application has been accepted. We have turned in a lot of information to legal counsel that is currently under review. I did receive a request over the weekend for an additional piece of information, which I will be getting to legal counsel tomorrow. And, you know, we'll submit this information here. So everything's pending, really at this point, everything's pending legal counsel's stamp of approval that we followed all the proper steps from start to finish for the seeking the bond approval from the voters.
Okay, so we need to vote to approve the language in the bond document or approve the signing of the document?
So I would not read the resolution, but I would
just approve the bond resolution as written?
approve, yeah, as written.
Okay, gentlemen, I'll accept a motion to approve the bond resolution as written. Agreement, I'll just summarize it, dated the 22nd of May to New Hampshire Municipal Bond Bank and the town of Litchfield. Again, as written.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Bork, seconded by Mr. Brunel. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Oh, I'm sorry, abstain. Motion carries 4-0-0.
Now, how long until we actually get approved and get the money?
So
get legal, right?
so this is expedited this year, this process, and we're actually going to have, if everything goes well, we'll have the cash, we'll have the check prior to July 1st.
Oh,
I think there's a date sometime in June.
nice.
We all gonna be able to touch it before it goes in the bank. Just to hold it for a minute.
Okay, Troy, the next item, the retirement system group 2 position certification, that's been signed and we don't need to approve that because the voters approved it.
Right.
Voters approved
You've
the
signed it,
position.
you don't need
So
it.
what this is it just notifies the retirement system that we have
We've
another-
created a new
a
group 2
position.
position. Every
Right.
position that you create new has a number at the New Hampshire State Retirement System.
Okay. Draft member MOU. River access. Troy.
Okay, so I think many of you probably heard that construction of the river access facility started today. And it's from the reports I'm hearing, it sounds like, the construction will go on for another 2 to 3 days. And as far as the actual construction of the driveway and parking area, that should be completed. Then working with the Access River Committee, they'll be working on the fencing, the landscaping, the gate, and those items. The purpose of this MOU is, one, to document, since we have about 3 parties that are involved. We have the Conservation Commission, who use their funds to purchase this land and have granted permission to construct this facility on top of this conservation land. And we have the Board of Selectmen that plays a role in town property. And then we have the Rec Commission, which has stated that they would be willing to take on the annual operating costs and ongoing, maintenance of the facility. So this is just a draft at this point in time. I've shared it with the Rec Commission. I've shared it with the Conservation Commission. I'm sharing it with you folks. I plan on bringing this back at our next meeting and having you adopt it. So I'm really looking forward, take time, read through it. Any questions you've got, any information. It's really kind of a...
Because that's one of the question marks at the end were they threw me a little.
Yeah.
I said, hey, wait a minute.
I'm starting to, yeah. But again, it's just, I've written it so that it lays out the facts. So, 10 years from now, if the Conservation Commission, Rec Commission start questioning how this happened, hopefully it's all documented here.
Well, what I may do, it's not a long document. When we go to execute it,
We'll have to read it.
I will read it.
Yes.
So that the townspeople know what that is. Okay. So that's next meeting, right?
So that's the whole purpose, is just really looking into the future, making sure that we have a total understanding of who's responsible for what and who's giving up what controls.
Okay.
So on this note, I'll just mention that I have started working on the lease agreement, and I should have a lease agreement available at our next meeting, maybe in draft form or maybe ready to be signed. So
Excellent.
This is for the farmer?
this will be between the town and the farmer.
In the farm.
So,
Haven't they already started?
so the conservation, no, they haven't started. I don't know if they've turned this. I was down there today. They've not turned the soil yet. So I have met with the farmer. They're fully aware that this was going on, and they admitted that they won't be planting for a few more weeks. So my biggest concern was that they would plant their crop and then we would come in to turn it into a parking lot. So obviously they'll know now what the scope of work is for this facility and work around it.
Great. Okay, it's 6:35. I will go through the motions. I'll open the floor up for public comment, but seeing no one here from the public,
You're opening yourself for a John Oliver session, that.
I understand. And John Oliver, if you're watching, my sympathies and my apologies. But seeing no one here, I will close public comment, and at least we opened it in case someone was here. I'll go on to the next. Item 7 is beautification fund. Okay, Mr. Brown.
Just requires a motion. As you know, the fund was created this year by petition warrant article. It was warrant article number 14. It proposed to establish the fund and provide the initial funding from the town's unassigned fund balance, known as the general fund. In order for us to transfer these funds, we just require a Board of Selectmen's motion.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to authorize the transfer of $2,500 from the general fund to the beautification expendable trust fund as approved in the March 13, 2018 Article 14 vote.
Motion made by Mr. Brunel.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Schaefer. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries 4-0-0. Item 8, Nashua Solid Waste Management District appointments. These are like reappointments, aren't they?
The correspondence, they're looking for confirmation.
Okay.
So
Dave.
on record right now, we have Dave Mellon, the transfer facility director, as the representative and Troy Brown as the alternate member.
All right, do we need to vote to confirm that?
Signed it already. Isn't there paperwork in it?
I think there's paperwork there and you had to sign it.
Okay, I'll
So it's
accept
just a
the
vote of
motion.
confirmation.
I'll accept the motion for both.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Brunel,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Schaefer. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstain? Motion carries 400. Okay, administrator report, Mr. Brown.
Okay, so as we know, one of the things that was authorized or passed, funding was passed in the 2018 budget for the non-union wage increases. So what we did last year, we took a look at our current employees, current wages, and we went through and applied. This board needs to set a cap, a maximum cap. Last year, the maximum was 3%. Not everyone would be eligible for 3%. We saw everything from 3 to 2 to some folks didn't receive an increase at all. But what I'm looking for this evening is direction from the board so that we can communicate with all the departments and start the performance review process so that July 1st, we'll be able to have these performance reviews done and the wage increases submitted to the finance department. So I told finance, put together a sheet and with a maximum of 3%. And the total cost with, all benefits and I can't get over there.
$8,000, is that what I see?
Why I can't. Let me open it up.
16, I thought, wasn't it?
About, was it all in?
Total is 16,324.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the first half of it.
That's it.
That's your call firemen and all your town employees.
And you based the call fireman increase with the impact was based on their average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so the police contract this year at the base on April 1st, they received 2%, roughly. That's their last year was 2%. Throughout the year, depending on their years of service, if they get promoted to master patrol and this and that, they're eligible for additional percentage of increases. So anyhow, I'd like to recommend that we allow the 3% again this year. And I think with knowing that not everyone's going to get the 3%, you're still going to come within your budget.
Right.
But that,
So we're gonna cap it at 3. That's the total attack. That's the total bottom line impact to our budget, and then we'll go through the review cycle. We'll judge 1, 2, and 3, and then we'll decide where the people sit in those percentage points if they get a rate increase at all.
right.
Okay.
All right, is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Brunel. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Bork. To adopt the sheet as written, or adopt the
Just-
3% cap.
Yeah.
Discussion.
So when do you think you'll have reviews done? I think you said it, but reviews done and come back to the board with the recommendation across the board so we know.
So May, June. So we're gonna want to get this out to everyone this week.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the fire department, they're going to do some training using Primex, our insurance carrier. They're going to do a little bit of performance training, performance review training. So I would shoot to try to get this back to the board, our first meeting in June.
Okay.
So what's the, and I'm just looking at it, we have an employee that's started June of 2017, and she's getting 3%.
Well,
No,
this is just my calculation of worst.
Just the
We're not
calculation
saying
for
they're
now.
gonna get 3%. We're just trying to figure out the.
Just
total-
trying to figure out what it
Okay,
would
right,
be.
right.
Kurt.
And one of the things, there is some of that, you would have to look at some of that stuff and see if really they're eligible for this, or they have to wait a year. So some of these will be tweaked,
You just,
but on the most, I'm just looking at set the cap of 3%, and then we'll come back
It's a good number though, 16,000.
with our recommendation.
Okay, any other questions? All right, motion made and seconded for the 3% cap. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, I'm gonna abstain.
Okay, opposed? Abstain? Motion carries 301. Okay, Mr. Brown,
Okay, I think
That
that's yeah, that's all I have.
that's all you have?
Yeah.
All right. Gentlemen,
I'll shake my hand.
Mr. Brunel, do you have anything?
Just a couple things. I think the last meeting we had was just before the budget committee meeting.
All right.
The budget committee meeting happened the 12th, I think it
April
was April 12th. Went really well. Several new members. The chair is Cindy Couture, and vice chair is Carrie Douglas. There was a lot of discussion around the schedule, which it looks like they're going to adhere to the same schedule we had last year. About a month worth of town business and move on.
Mhm.
That seemed like it worked. Everyone felt like it worked. At least the way they went through it worked out well. Present the budgets, ask the questions, and then vote on it down the end. So that seemed to be the way they're going to continue that. There was a lot of discussion about going on Facebook Live, as you can probably imagine.
Oh, yeah.
And that happened because, that happened when the school committee member kind of updated them on what was the discussion. That became a topic, and we talked a lot about it. Cindy obviously expressed her concerns also about how do you manage a meeting when you go on Facebook Live because of the commenting and all that. My feedback has been ignore it. If you don't address it, you don't have to document it because you're not interacting with it. It's like any going live today. We're live, so I'm making phone calls to our office right now, leaving voicemails. I'm not responding to it. But we did ask about the council. I know council has come back with some feedback, which seems to be ignored. But
this was all informal,
Yeah.
just verbal, but my initial response is stay off social media.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because there's definitely a good value of doing it. The school board obviously is against it also. There was a dialogue that happened at their last school board meeting, which generated an email from me to the school board about basically buying another service to provide streaming that's private to them so they can control it. I had a conversation with both the chair and that email, which I think hopefully helps us continue our process. Tonight, we actually went live on YouTube Live versus Facebook Live. Benefits there is it's on our YouTube channel, which we already save all our meetings already there now anyway. We can control chat and comments. There's no chats or comments happening during the live broadcast. The downfall is people don't see it as they do on Facebook. So right now our viewership is 1, and it's me because I'm monitoring no feed. And we did broadcast it out there. It is, people should know it's out there, but we'll give this a try for a little bit. Hopefully this removes the concerns from the school board and we can continue our efforts at getting streaming as an option. So that's it.
Thank you. I have nothing. Mr. Bork?
I got nothing.
Now, you have conservation is next week, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Schaefer?
Rich LaSalle came to me, and we have a plan to utilize the National Guard to build a parking lot for us over at Jeff Lane.
Oh, wow.
Originally, we were gonna, put that out to bid somehow, and because of the company that's helping us do the river access, we can now redirect the National Guard to our project over at Jeff Lane, and they can build the parking lot across the street. And that's probably going to happen in July.
Excellent. Okay, any other business? There's no items removed from consent. Next meeting of the Board of Selectmen will be Monday, May 14th, 2018 at 6 p.m. At this point, we will enter into another non-public session under RSA 91A 32A for compensation, and we will only come out of non-public to adjourn. So at this point, I will ask for a motion to go into non-public, and thank everyone for tuning in tonight, and we will see you again on Monday, May 14th. And so I entertain a motion.
Make a motion to go to non-public under RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2, small a, compensation.
Motion by Mr. Schaefer.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Brunel. Roll call, Mr. Brunel.
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Bork? Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Okay, it is 6:46 PM. We are now in non-public session. Thank you, everyone.
Small A. Who the heck says that?
So you hit the end.
Duh.
See,